mine might not be as well presented as it is, unfortunately. So the key thing in the Agile Manifesto is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Why do we have to negotiate and say this is our estimate, and negotiate with people and go this is going to be my estimate? I agree to a contract for that. And then the other thing is responding to change over following a plan. Well, hashtag no estimates is all about that. So if I give you an estimate, then usually I marry that with some kind of plan as well. And once you've got that marriage, it's very hard to break away from that kind of, that form of it. So how can I ever change my plan when I've given you estimate to actually deliver stuff? There's another quote, there's a Twitter thing which is about, estimating stuff is pretty insane. Having a backlog of stuff is pretty insane. So then if you're going to estimate everything in your backlog, how insane is that? Because it's going to change. Like that's your plan for the future, yet you've estimated all that stuff. Why don't you just get on with delivering stuff for your customer? Actually deliver some value to the customer, rather than go through all your backlog items and play planning poker and go, I think that's an 8. And then when you get round to it in about 5 months' time and you go, actually it's not an 8, it's a 1. Woo. So you can deliver stuff faster. So what do you do? How do you do no estimates? Well, guess what? You select the most important piece of work you need to do today. You break that work down into risk-neutral chunks of work, and you develop stuff, and you deliver it to the customer as quickly as possible, and you keep iterating and refactoring. And you actually make predictions on actual past data, so the number of items that you have actually delivered, rather than going, actually, how long is this going to take? How many people spend hours in planning meetings deciding upon how long, how big a story is, arguing the toss over it. When you actually look at the statistical data, usually people complete, I know the team that I'm in, complete about 20 tickets, and then you get a project manager coming over and saying, actually, I need you to deliver 35 tickets the next sprint. And the goal all becomes about delivering points rather than actually delivering value. What else do I have to say? How hard is estimating? How accurate are we with estimating? Are we not about 20 to 50% inaccurate with estimates? I think that's the figure that we get. And yet we make decisions based upon estimates. Guess what? You're basing your decisions based on guesses that you're making. You're spending money based on guesses, which, again, the analogy is with building like a house. Well, maybe, you should give them 40 grand to build a house. How many times is the cost accurate to the actual outcome? Shouldn't you make an informed decision? Like everyone goes on about lead time, cycle time. Well, I know that the average cycle time for delivery of something is generally very short. How many people measure the lead time and estimate that into how much they're going to actually take to deliver some software? So I'm talking about from inception to delivery. Do we estimate that load up front that everyone seems to hide away? We don't estimate that, yet we come to the developers and go, estimate how long it's going to take you to deliver, I don't know, a widget. Well, guess what? The actual length of time it takes to get an idea to actually deliver it, is the bit to deliver the software is nothing. So why don't we focus on lead time and queue lengths and queue depths? So I think it's about making informed decisions. Asking how long something will take is the best way of getting isn't the best way of getting the right information. Why don't we base it based upon actual statistical information we've got in the past? Very much, similar to the way that, Kanban and stuff like that looks at historical data to predict the future instead of going, well, actually, give me an estimate. Some of the facts and figures, so they've done a case study of 24 projects, and they're based upon story points versus no estimates. The difference in the accuracy was 20% accuracy after 3 sprints, and you would bring it in with no estimates by 4%, minus 4%. So the accuracy was a lot better with no estimates. And that's just counting cards that you're going to commit to. Yeah, I'll be done in a second. And we all know that, yeah, that's it. Ah, shit. We all know that story points are gamed. You know, if you say I'm going to deliver 70 points, guess what? You're going to deliver 70 points. Because we all play to that game, don't we? We're all human beings. You know, it's good ads, or whatever. And you know something? Why don't we have that trust to actually believe that developers can deliver stuff if they're given the right, you know, information? So you say to them, right, okay, this is your goal, this is your strategy. Why don't you go and deliver that? Why don't we have that level of trust within our developers? We pay them an awful lot of money and we don't have that trust. Shouldn't we have that trust in those people? I think that's probably about it. Yeah, I think I'm done there. I don't want to sum up any more. I don't think.